Oh, kidding me. He blames. He sits there and blames Canada and blames that. When sits there and blames Canada when it shouldn't be. Oh, alrighty, guys. Let's get ourselves going. Yes, you guys saw both of these things. Finally have a solution um to our issue. Um, we had an issue with the Donbass region. Um, and I wanted to share with you guys that the Donbass region, um, I was going to use it, um, basically, uh, hold on a second. Actually, I don't need to. We're gonna show you guys what I use now specifically. If you go to 1.6, um, basically the stuff that I was utilizing for this run is I'm gonna show you guys that I do um, apply those there. Um, I do use everything except for the House of Austersund, use the Atelier project, and then I also use Poland and Slovakia. So deselect all of Russia and deselect all of that. I use all of these all of these from here, north, south, west, east. Um, the reason why I do not use the tutorial hints begone is because for people right here wanting to watch stuff, that's the safest bet. But I will tell you, it's 66. There is, for me, I went, and when I went to East Europe, I put both of these into play, making it 71 mods. It broke. Donbass broke for me, so if you're having that issue, if you're having a crash issue, remove Donbass and see if that fixes the issue. That's, as you can see, I still crash. So I just wanted you guys to know that I have been in with that. I probably shouldn't, but it's a support ticket. Um, what it's worth, I probably shouldn't, but I did anyways. Whatever. Um, um, so let's go to our external market. I don't think freight market. On trailer. Okay. Zurich. That's going Donbass. Let's go to the cargo market as well, because sometimes because apparently that Zurich, oh, Zurich is right there, but oh, we have the Munich one. Because we can travel to some of these locations. That's just going to Frankfurt. That's the longest trip distance we've got. I'm not wanting to go back. That's going down there to Tunist. You know what? Let's go to Montpellier. We'll set that as our destination for this. Gotta wait for this car to go by. But I did not crash going through that exact same location that I did before. And I just want you guys to know that I do not crash this time. So I really so basically what happened was I went in, I removed the Donbass stuff first, and then I removed the Guvoko first, and then I removed Donbass for before it. So I'm pretty sure it's this one right here. That one's going up to Russ, but that's not the one I wanted to pick. I wanted to go to Montpellier, take job. I don't care about the money for this one, for a lot of reasons. But I will tell you, there's a couple of things that you guys need to really understand, within today's title, that it's that the first thing that you will see is that that we have the Canadian wildfires that are going on up in Canada that are kind of really making life miserable for a lot of people, especially over in New York and stuff like that. But it's over there, but it's also not only is it affecting that, it's also affecting a lot of people here in the United States, claiming a lot of things that is going on. Let me be clear, with all of this. Do you think that I would be totally focused on for a lot of these things that are going on within the country, that a lot of these politicians don't understand the importance of Canada. They don't understand what's going on in Canada because they don't they're not there. They're American. They're not Canadian. And to begin with, a lot of these politicians are basically blaming Canada for letting wildfire smoke come into our freaking country. Then why don't you go do something about it and actually start figuring out a way to get help, bring help, go to Canada, utilize our resources to help Canada. But in a lot of problems is like they wanna sit there and put blame on Canada for not doing their job when Canada is doing their job. Okay, you can't go out and say that and complain about it when you aren't actively blaming Canada for not doing their job, when you should be figuring out a way to help out Utah and all these other places out down on the west coast of the United States that are also having these wildfires. You don't want to do anything. You want to go out and reduce USAID so we can get things to help these places. You want to go out and remove the reduce the what's that thing called that we FEMA, not wanting to allow FEMA to help in natural disasters and stuff. You want to remove federal funding to help these situations because we're totally not wanting to help on our own end. It's like you want to do, if you want to help, do something. Don't just sit around and do nothing on this issue. But unfortunately, some people can't always. I can't always do a lot, but there's just enough that if you can understand that wildfires are a thing that Canada faces. But not only does that happen there, it's like you can't control the freaking weather. You cannot control the wind and the things that bring the wildfire smoke down here. Okay, not only is the wildfires going on. Was a 7.3 magnitude earthquake off the coast of Mexico that was bringing tsunamis. Like, are you really serious that you were going out there and wanting to complain actually, let's go. I know they're supposed to say this far right lane, but and they don't look at these things that are going on and trying to fix it. They won't fix it. They won't do a darn thing about these things to prevent these wildfires from happening. The United States technically is not wanting to at least mitigate a lot of these issues that are facing across the United States, reducing our water supply with all these data centers, reducing that. I'm not saying that the water center it's the electric bills that are going to also affect a lot of the United States too. And we are having this thing that we need to not build so much into these freaking data centers. Have every freaking data center with an AI around everywhere. And we need to just stop putting data centers and putting less constraint on our electric grid. to begin with. You know, we need to have less use on the electric grid and actually start focusing on putting more towards the fundamental of taking the electric grid and actually shifting the use of doing it through other means and figuring out a way to, like, why can't we figure out, like, you want to reduce our water consumption, and you are doing that, and look what's going on out west. A lot of wildfires, a lot of things being used, sucking up the water dry, and reducing it. And that's not right. Hold on, guys. Guess what? If you guys had any messages, freaking me forgot to put this. This isn't gonna take a long trip, but for today, yeah. Hopefully I didn't miss anybody's messages. Okay. Okay, there we go. But anyway, so one of the things that really, that people need to really pay more attention to is just not understanding what's going on. Is that if you don't understand what's going on, then don't say anything about it. If you don't understand it, study up on it before you make that. Go and actually study up on Canada. Learn and study and actually pay attention to what's going on up there, instead of just head banging and head bashing and blaming Canada for the problem for the smoke coming into the United States. It's like natural disasters do not care about your borders. Okay? Because a natural disaster in the United States yesterday, or over in June, I think it was in June, when North Dakota had a tornado outbreak that basically literally was on the cusp of going into Canada and crossed into the Canadian border. Tornadoes do not care about your borders. Earthquakes do not care about your borders either. Wildfires do not care about your borders. Animals do not care about your borders either, because, to be honest, that's a thing too. The rain, the lightning, the thunderstorms, the tsunamis, the typhoons, hurricanes do not care about your borders. They do not, and because there's no concept of a border to them. If that was the case, we would not be seeing a tornado crossing in from Oklahoma to Kansas. Okay, let me hold on. Let me change a couple of things out here. We'll disable you because I don't need that showing up. It's unnecessary. Then since I have um um where's the that's to keep mirrors hidden. I'm looking for the turning that off. Because it's just unnecessary. It's really just unnecessary to have that in my thing, turning it off. Because if I have the infotainment center, I wouldn't have to have my phone there. And I cannot even see the infotainment center anyway. I wish that we could just have the like that. And we have a lot of other things that really do bother me a lot with people just not really listening or following or paying attention to these things. Look, don't just listen to a senator and getting your news from a senator. Make sure that when you do get your news, that your news comes from point A to point B. That when you go from point A to looking at this article, make sure that your second article and your third and your fourth and your fifth, that when you study up on these things, don't just believe the article and believe in the sense of it. Make sure that it has fact check it. Make sure that those things are being told what's being truth and what's being not. A lot of times when you actually really think about it, you know, for me, there's two things that, you know, I am for guns, but I am not for everything with them within the gun culture. Okay, there's only a few things that I'm not supportive of it, but that's but being allowed for you to have a gun, fine. You can have it all you want. I'm not against it. I'm not against guns. I'm not against the things. I'm just more of, do we need guns? What we should really do is we should focus on two things. We should not be removing these silencer problems on these places, because when you actually really think about it, you know, silencers, yes, they're good for certain things, but I don't think we shouldn't increase the thing either. We should just allow for the price of that $400 or whatever that it costs for us to get one should stay. We should allow for that to happen on any place, on anywhere. States should be using that to use that money to combat the violence that goes for it, and also being able to that it takes more time for somebody to get it. Yes, and the reason why I say that is because, you know, most people don't really understand that when you actually think about it, that there's this thing where what if a cop who is 5 blocks away might not be able to hear it? Because yes, the silencer deafens the sound. Yes, it does not, it's still, you can still hear it. Even in Call of Duty, you can still hear the silencer going off. Okay? But it's a reduction in sound that if a cop were 5 blocks away, 10 blocks away, can't hear that thing going off, and this thing happens, and there was a cop 6 blocks away that could be easily to respond to it if it's an on-duty cop. Okay, those are the things that we need to really think about. Think about it. Instead of putting our kids at risk of putting guns out of the hands of the good people, is not right, because that's not going to help. That's not going to help at all, for a few reasons. Removing a gun from the hands of a good person is only going to embolden the criminal. And a lot of people don't even really think about the problems that go on without having guns. A lot of people don't even seem to really understand that a law-abiding citizen is going to follow the law. Okay? But when you look at, I've actually have watched or listened to different places. I've have gotten through and listened to different countries' news. And the reason why I know a few things about news is that if you go and you look at Canada, I usually listen to the CBC, and then I use for Japan I use NHK. I don't use it as a thing, but I also use John as another example of listening to what Japan has in store and what their news is kind of thing now, on certain things. But then I also have UK through Transradio UK, where I do listen to occasionally. And one of the things that that people need to really understand with it is that you remove the guns, but guess what? There are other things that have increased in elsewhere, in crime. Like, now of course, I believe Sweden has gun laws, allows guns, but also has it where it's a lot better and a lot more better gun laws than we do, but yet they still have guns. I know that Norway, I know Norway has it too, if I'm not mistaken, because of bear sightings and things that really do make those things. But when you look at taking away those guns, in the UK they have recent. I don't know how many more. I haven't really listened to Transradio UK in forever. It's been that kind of thing. But they've had a lot of increased knife attacks and a lot of increased in those things and increasing in it. And so getting rid of guns does not solve the problem. It's just going to shift the problem that we face to other means and other ways of doing things. And it's also the same thing when you go and you look at Japan. They have no problems with guns, but yet they have other problems, other issues, other things that you look at. And just because you look at a country that is the safest country in the world, it's not going to be 100% a perfect country with 100% safety. It's going to be at most probably a 90% safety rating, probably enough that it's going to warrant a good safe place to live. but there's still going to be problems. And a lot of these places do not care whether or not if you're whether a lot of these things do happen because they do not care if they break the law. Criminals are going to break the law no matter what, and that's what we need to focus on. Is we need to focus more. I don't know why. I don't know why that is there. I'm wondering if it's because of my truck having been beaten or whatever, but I don't think I have enough to even repair any of it. But it's one of those things is when it comes into relation to these things, it's like, yeah, Japan has a problem with it too. A homemade gun was made outside of 3D printing. Like, a lot of people will blame 3D printing and problems with 3D printing. Yeah, there's going to be a point, probably at some point, where it's going to happen. But as of right now, most of the time it's ineffective. 3D printing a gun is ineffective. 3D printing those things aren't going to stop a criminal from getting a gun. A criminal is going to find other ways to get it. It's easier for them to get a already manufactured or supported of a gun. They're already going to get that. They're already easy to find it, you know? There was an incident with 16 guns stolen from mine. Yes, it can be sometimes easily done and tracked, but only 8 of them have been found, not the other 8. Where's the other 8? And so you got to think about that, you know, that it's easy for them to go to a thing like in GTA where, you know, you can go out and get a gun in GTA, but you can easily just, you know, take it from you can easily probably end up just stealing it. It's like off of cops and off of gangs and things that are there, and you can have it. It's yours. You have it completely. And it's like, so basically you just use guns that were not lawfully yours. You didn't buy them. I am getting tired. But it's one of those things where you can go out and look at these things that, yeah, it's a problem. You know, in California, they wanted to take away your right to manufacture a 3D printer, using a 3D printer. They want to remove your ability to produce your making your weapons. They want to, you know, California's not like, there's a lot of things where I will tell you where There are a few places where I will not, there's only one blue state in this whole entire country that I will not live in. Okay? That I will not live in. And California is one of them. That I wouldn't live in unless I absolutely needed to begin with. Delivery status. How far do we got left to go? 2 hours. Yeah. We'll just do the recommended time for it. And so it's just really one of those things where I'm against that. That's the only thing that I will tell you that I lean towards the left a lot more than most people think. I'm absolutely a left-leaning person. There's a lot of things that I do follow on the left, except for a couple of issues, and that's pretty much basically the gun issue is the only one that I'm right-leaning on, and I think there's like one other thing that I'm like, there's probably one or maybe two other things that are outside of the scope of that, but mostly I am left-leaning. I am right there standing with places like Zoran Mamdani and AOC and Bernie Sanders. Those people up there mostly with the exception of basically kind of their policies. Because I think, and a lot of people will look at what happened last night with Donald Trump and his speech. Like, that was, like, I didn't even go sit and watch this whole darn thing. I was like, yeah, do I watch it? No, nope. I haven't sat down and watched a Trump speech in forever. And I don't. I'm not somebody that goes out and watches Trump for that reason. And because he doesn't tell the truth. He's not somebody that he is one of those people that you don't believe that he won't take your gun away. Yeah, he will. If it benefits him and it benefits to support him and say, well, I'm just going to get rid of it because, I don't want people rising up against me. Like, he would do it. He is willing to take away your rights, take away the things that you are there for. Because of it, he got rid of the bump stocks and then had to revert it back because of reasons. He has basically come out and, when they had ice with Renee Good and Alex Peretti, that he basically said that he would gladly get rid of guns because he doesn't want that happening to his goons. It's like he does not have any sense of doing that. But with his speech last night, basically claiming that there was fraud going on within the election. Well, where's the 2016 fraud, and where's the 2024 fraud? There wasn't any. He claimed 2020 fraud when he was the one that was in office and didn't do anything about it. Didn't do anything about it, and there was fraud in 2024. The fraud was coming from Elon Musk. Musk, when he basically rigged the election to support Donald Trump. And it was done right here on the soil to basically allow for him to get elected. And it's like, so it's and that fraud that he was saying was China, there was all China when it was actually Russia. And I heard that there was a mix. I can't tell you which one it was, but he did say that there was interference. This document said that there was interference with Russia, not China, Russia, and I believed it was there to help to help Biden, I believe, or it was to help Donald Trump. I don't know, but there was at least something there going on, according to the document anyway. You can't really do anything on that, but unfortunately, you have to really take it at face value that, you know, Trump wants to, he wanted to even do that and then claim to push the Save America Act. Get it passed, get it done. It's like, really? So you're going to disenfranchise a whole bunch of people just because of the thing. You know, what we should really be doing is I sat here and was listening to a video from a guy in Canada that basically talked about how they do their elections. And the way that they do their elections is that they don't redraw their district by legislators. They do it by judges. And that they do it by paper ballot. Yeah, they do it by paper ballot, but they read it out loud and then they but it's a lot slower. But because we are one of the countries with, I think we're one of the highest populated countries in the world that do follow this, that do use that we're not the only country that utilizes voting systems, voting machines. But to be honest, what we should really be doing is we should be using paper ballots to begin with. And then having machines to having a machine to count them. But then having, like, if you object to it, like if you feel like you object to it, then we should go to hand counting. Okay, hand counting for that, and that would be a better decision, and I think it would be much more just paper ballot, just to vote on the paper, and then having a digital counter and then doing a physical one just as a backup, just as, you know, for that reason, so that it's redundancy and it allows for the check on all of these things. Because now we're going to have AI and we're going to have all these things. We need to fix a lot of these things and get those things going on. to prevent the to allow for additional protection against those things. We shouldn't be relying on AI in general. We should have it as a tool, not as a thing that we should be using as a daily basis. I don't use AI on a daily basis. I use it on an occasion where if I am like I can't figure out how to do something. I've been looking around. I use the main searches before I do use AI. And that's how I do a lot of my stuff around here. And always using AI for that matter. Okay. Where do we go? Okay, so it's gonna be back here. It's a lot easier for me to do it here in Europe for the 15 extra XP than it is for anywhere else. But anyway, I'm gonna tell you this, guys. I know I've only been streamed for about 15 minutes. For 50 minutes. But normally I would be on a lot earlier, but I was doing some figuring out and testing some things that I haven't. I will tell you that let's go and that unsaved is was a thing that I did for testing. At 17 26 because there's no point. I don't think we're gonna live to be over. I'm gonna tell you right now. We're not going to live. I'm just gonna tell you, in my own personal opinion, that we might not live past 100 years. And if we do, it's going to be a miracle for that one. But I will tell you, we'll not live to 3,000 years. We will not, like, the second coming's coming. And any kids being done today, the younger you are, the closer you are likely to see the second coming for that. And things like that. But, what I'm going to show you guys is, right here, this is where we're at now, but I'm going to load this save here for you guys. As you can see, I had to remove these mods specifically. They do not work for it. So I just want you guys to know that that tomorrow, if I do go live, I'm probably gonna do some Euro Truck tomorrow. That you gotta focus on I don't know what I'm doing, but anyway, tomorrow we'll probably do Euro Truck again if I feel like it, if I'm able to go live. Don't quote me on that. I'm not gonna go live tomorrow. If, for what it's worth, um, I'm not gonna go that way to, if Barnacles is on, I won't be live, tomorrow, but I will tell you this, if you guys are watching directly here on YouTube, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button. Today's got a lot shorter day, but there's reasons for it. I'm not gonna sit here and, continue to go live after because, mostly been just having that issue, like I said, having the issue of crashing through in the game, and I had to send this out so that I did not crash any further. I had this issue in 1.58. I had crashing in 1.58 as well, and I just never went and fixed it. I said I was done. I just was like, nah, not gonna do it. I went into 1.59 in Project Japan. That's when I went over and said, I'm just gonna start Japan. Then I went to 1.59 with Japan and 1.6 with Japan, through it, and to be honest, it's absolutely one of the best things in Euro Truck that they've done so far. You know, one of the things is if you hit, if you go drive, like I said, on keyboard, you can press F6 and it will bring up the this up for it. It's not my thing for it, but it's there. Allowing you to change those things. There is a couple other things you can do. Is if you go to navigation, not navigation, but if you go to media, audio player, there's a new in-game audio player for you all to listen. You got Pop Gear, Radio, Rust FM, Pump It. If you don't have your own custom radio stations, and then the music player, what I've been using is a lot of Panda Beat stuff, for you guys. So, anyway, I will catch you guys, later. If you hit that subscribe, make sure you hit that bell notification. So anyway, and if you're watching here directly on Twitch, Twitch is going to be, I'm going to be live on Twitch probably 6-7 o'clock tonight, for that, most likely 7, might be there, but it's always great to be followed, and I might hop into Fortnite right away. Tonight we're going to do some Save the World, possibly. Might do that live. And then, tonight we might do not Grand Theft Auto, Call of Duty, tonight, Call of Duty Black Ops 7 Zombies, or, we'll be hopping in and doing some Fortnite stuff and getting that done, because Glass wants to get the battle pass done, wants to do Fortnite tonight. We can do it. I'm not gonna have any objections, because I also want to work on getting the, I also want to get done with the sprites, trying to get that done and working. So, anyway, we will catch you guys, later. Oh, and if you guys want to catch, Final Fantasy 13 again, I might do it tomorrow. I might do it again. I might do it on Friday, Sunday, but we will see. So anyway,